They're whirling axes and fervor by level 2. It's like Weaver, kind of. Really strong.
Oh, good God, Weaver. That hero as a support is nuts at the moment too, isn't it?
These random kills where the supports get a bunch out of it. The lowest level on Dire is 11, and the lowest level on Radiant is 8. 2 level 8 heroes compared to 2 level 11s. And the Troll's just like every
big. A little bit of extra mana regen for the rest of the game. He'll love that.
Yeah,
okay,
as
Troll.
these fights keep going, the Dire just seem to be getting so much more out of them than the Radiant. Every fight that Dire wins is like a 3.
Stone. It's just like playing old Sand King. Your Sandstorm just becomes so big, so it is being picked a little bit more, at least in the pro scene at the moment. But that's my
actual defensive item now, so it's going to get a lot harder to kill him after that, you know?
Now, what I will say
the travels to farm efficiently.
Is Dire had some really, really good vision in this early game. I'm not sure if you saw it, but it was scouting.
And drop a Sandstorm, swish with Axe. That's all he has to do. Speaking of the lanes, I think there might be a bit of action in mid this game.
Strikes me, as the time in the game that the Necro might need to start getting involved, because I'm worried. I know that it needs the farm to sort of start to have an impact.
Pit and Slaughter Gang took second pick, Slaughter Gang and second pick Dire again. So again, this should favor the AU rejects for their drafting phase. First ban on the
charge from Raccoon to secure the fruit, but RFA is just going to throw out the disruption, but now he doesn't really have any save for himself if they do decide to go, but they're just putting so much damage onto Raccoon.
So I would expect a couple deaths up top, either way.
Yeah, well that's the thing, right? Is these universal heroes just do so much damage, and Windy obviously had some...
yeah, they're my competitors, of course, and I think it's going to be a really hype series.
That is exciting, and that's what I want to hear. I love when their game is competitive. Competitive gaming is what I'm all about.
I'll be playing bottom very much. Notice Mars is under his tower. Just like
Cold Snap comes out. Harold's in trouble. No Lucky Bashes from Prey, so he sort of disappears into the tree. Bottle refill from Raccoon. Okay. If you're having a hard game, you still feel like you're in it. Especially as a support player, I often get relegated to 5, and when I see a Barra picked, my heart flutters. It's like being a Storm Spirit and seeing a Maiden or an Ezreal on your team. It's like Faye is now in trouble as well as he tries to run to his tower and just gets up down. Okay, nice young Harold. And Gachi going in bottom.
Gachi gets a kill, 2v1.
And the whip comes out. Looks like they're still looking for Win Xing. Shadow Demons died somewhere in the background that I didn't quite catch, but it looks like Axe jumps in to get a good call, but he's delayed by the avalanche toss, and now... Ooh, is he in trouble?
Just be because of what the players play here. Like, obviously you don't see a lot of Axe at Riyadh, but you see a lot of the Willow and the Hoodwink that kind of prevents it, and the Underlord where he could just go back into his roots of like playing LD, playing all these really memey pos ones. Maybe they get Gooby on Razor or something. I think it was completely overlooked. I don't even think it was banned. I don't know how to do
I didn't
that.
see Radiant is here now, and all of a sudden this fight that looked almost kind of good, suddenly it looks really, really bad as Gachi just turns on them and absolutely eliminates them. The Shadow Demon goes down, the Vengey goes down, and now the Vengey Spirit might go down. Morphling or name right now. What's the fish? Naga. Like, we see Naga pushing out pushing out with illusions. We see your Terrorblade pushing out with illusions. He almost got caught by
Spirit Breaker there. Oh no, he's going to try Sneak Roche, and he's going to get clipped here, I think.
Back in that game, but hey,
you might see the tiny ban. There goes the monkey. That's also kind of expected. Giving first pick Monkey King, especially against
goes that Undying. Gachi is here to play though, and it looks like the Dire team needs to run away because Gachi is hungry. He is a big, fat, juicy bear, and he finds Johnny just like that. The Zeus is enough to wrap that kill for him to get out of there. Oh, both of these teams are making mistakes, but both of these teams are making sick plays. This is good Dota. This is the kind of Dota that you can feel the pressure on these teams, right?
It's away from him because the Voka doesn't even need them, I don't think. Lag. I have... Ooh.
Don't stress, I'll let you know what's going on. One thing I was going to say though is that the Halberd is how many seconds
Gets caught out bottom.
He was just lurking around for the ages. But the Halberd, sure it disarms him if he doesn't have BKB, but how many times is us...
Although the one placed by Tiny is less likely to get clipped by a sentry, that goes for the high grounds.
Double damage top, and Huncho is heading for it.
Very meta ward.
So much trouble this entire game, but are they holding? There's two heroes here
Yubi
and a
dies.
spirit that might want to deal with Gachi, but no. Down goes
no.
the Sand King. Sand King does have buyback. There is that knockback from the Moon Cow. Once, but you need to pick an MVP for me.
Ooh, okay. It's tough. There's a lot of good competitors, but I got to give it to Gubala. So if you look at like the landing stage, yes, he's top 3.
By the way.
Oh, I've been disconnected.
Oh, looks like they're doing what they can to get on top of Johnny once again. Johnny running as fast as he can, and they do manage to get him. Huncho pops the ult and jumps in, but that damage just doesn't seem to matter.
Yeah. So the Zeus is really good here. Gives him a lot of vision. He's obviously they don't need to pick a mid laner to go in, right? They have the Breaker, they have the Axe, they have the Ursa. They can make a lot of space and then have the Zeus in the back just counter the Axe's ability to like back lane like this. So I'm not sure why he was trying to do that. If you get put on the ball once, you lose the entire creep wave aggro. And there's like, I don't know.
For a while now, but it is allowing him to get this passive gold, right? We see this in the game with like illusion heroes, like your fish. Why can't I remember it?
Get through just because it was the most impactful hero on Radiant last game by far.
Well, they just beat it. Are they confident enough to let it slip through? Do you want to talk to just talk to Sadist for me for a second? Why we've seen a resurgence in Necro?
Sadist. Oh, right. Okay. So the profane potent
Lord on top of RFA's Rubik. Uh-oh.
I believe before all that happened, the Spirit Breaker actually just warded. And the entire fight happens. Undo is they'll lock it in with their last pick and they'll obviously ban out all the cheese. So Huskar's already out of the pool. Slaughter Gang are taking away all the tempo, so there goes Storm Spirit.
It's one of the strongest pos ones we've seen.
Definitely.
Is it going to be enough to deal with the Morphling?
I don't know. So on paper, right?
Sea Salt's confused. Oh! And Hunter goes on the Undying. He steps out of position and he goes down as well. This game is pretty active, isn't it? There are kills going on all over the map.
Ceaseless Dirge did act. Yeah, so it's he gets 1 per kill, otherwise 3 if he uses Cull, and he used Culling Blade a lot that game.
A whole bunch of damage and Johnny goes down. There is a bear lurking on the sidelines. No, it's Gubala once again jumping on those supports on the back line. Gubala having a phenomenal game this game.
Doing this kind of shenanigans, they would be losing these fights, and you can see...
Look out! The bear just jumps on the back line and deals with that Shadow Demon. Meanwhile, no! Reverie caught with his pants. They're like hiding in the trees from an axe that is everywhere. This cow non-stop charging poor Johnny again and again. Johnny finishes that game with 19 deaths. Let's have a look how many times the Spirit Breaker was involved in. Where you're expecting to see that same competition, that same fire tonight as well, huh?
I think so, yeah. These two teams on paper should be relatively close.
Morphling's just going to try and port out here. No, cancels his port,
TP.
But that might be a mistake, Reverie, because there are 4 Radiant heroes here and they are looking for you. He does have 4,200 HP and is outside his tier 3 though, so he might just live. He has a built-in.
Is that on the auto attack? Or
it is on the auto attack. Yeah, it is on the auto attack. Every time he attacks is 8-second cooldown, and it stacks and stacks and it stacks. It's 2% each time he hits, and it can stack up. 1 here, or are they running the tiny as a 1?
So AE Rejects have done something brilliant here. Gubala has played Snap 3 earlier in the tournament. Snapfire can be a mid. I think that's mostly for the Gauchi Johnny matchup because a lot of Gauchi's heroes probably fall victim to like the BKB Pierce of Axe Call, and it just sets you up to die in so many different ways.
Keep the Morphling alive. But what's the point of saving your Morphling if it doesn't have any farm? Like if it's not getting back into these games? Huge performance from Prey. There to secure that kill.
Harold's getting rich here. You saw the impact this guy had last game with no gold.
Oh, meanwhile, Reverie's down again.
The blink reveal. Oh my god, I've missed it twice. Most people say this matchup is Morphling favored. I think on paper it is strictly a 50-50, and it depends on how the fights start and how the rest of the team interacts with each other. So because
and they're playing with fire here, this is a Morphling.
They're just BMing them at this point. Taunting Reverie in the fountain, knowing his team doesn't
have
my
lord, he gets a bash, but now Gachi's pinned in the corner. Yeah. But I'm going to leave it there for tonight. Sure. Thank you everyone who hung out in the stream tonight. You are all absolute cuties. I really appreciate you, and I can't stream unless you guys are here watching me.
He wants to play into Shadow Fiends. Because
can we just talk about that? Can we talk about the Zeus? I'm seeing an axe called into a Zeus ult, and I'm seeing a dead Morphling. Razorban? No, there was no Razorban. Not from my memory, anyway.
Because, like, if you think about it, Razor's very similar to the Snapfire in a lot of regards, except it just buys defensive items, whereas the Snapfire, so impressive comeback. He did backlanding, which I didn't think is possible against a Shadow Demon, simply just because of disruption, makes it impossible to drag creeps. And then he just...
Fat Bear underneath their tier 3, but they sort of have enough to deal with him. He pops his BKB and just wants to pour it out of there, but now Zeus and Winxing need to be careful because the rest of the team is going to be running after them. No vision.
But he's
Axe lurking on the side. Wouldn't have that confidence,
so, yeah,
right?
Mid-Tiny, 1 Necro, 3... Snapfire, I think I actually don't know. All these players play all these positions, and I'm actually really confused about what they're trying to do here. So I putting damage, like the bear can do like a good chunk. Now he has like the maul bonus and like the attack speed. But yeah, they cannot leave the base.
Raccoon is just diving the base. Oh, looks like the Zeus Axe comes out and he goes to the...
Okay. Oh no, sorry, Gachi's on the... Wait, what? Gachi's on the Necro? What position are they playing?
Raccoon picks up the Windy. Okay, look at this mess.
Insanely hard to play most carry heroes into it. But the Gachi Ursa would be one of the few people who I would put stocks on. And I could really be liking the way this is turning out for Dire. They got the possible tiny...
I have very Herald perspective. You're the big brain
I wouldn't
analyst.
have expected it into the Zeus, you know? Like, the Zeus gives, like, vision constantly. But, like, all he has to do to win the game of Sand is get on top of Zeus and drop the entire map, just building the network leads. I think Reverie sees the top lane, looks good. And Axe is waiting for him up there as well.
Johnny, 200 gold. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Bubs cast. There's been a whole lot of them lately, and tonight I just couldn't miss this game. How is it just going to light not see him? No. Boom! The space cow lands on top of it.
He didn't anticipate. He couldn't smell it coming.
Shield rune?
No way. That would have been a 500 gold kill for Harold if he could have got it, but unfortunately they could not slay the hunch dog there. He's too strong.
Okay, so we got a 2k lead already. 8 minute strong in the meta, or is this just a specialist shutdown? Is this just someone saying no? We're not going to give you, what you're comfortable on. We're going to make you play something that's out of your comfort zone.
I think it could.
in the way of bans, picks? Is there like some specific heroes you think are going to come out during the pick phase that we might expect to see across both games? Alright, talk to me. Ball's getting up from the Aegis, but that is another stack for Gachi, and Gachi's doing his best to slip off into the trees. Can they find him? Yep, of course they can. There's the charge. There's the reverse! Big old, massive Reaper Scythe on top of him, and that is more stacks for the stack. Doesn't get caught or doesn't.
He's got a big one. He's not too afraid. I have been seeing a lot of pros do the Ring of Health build on the Ursa. Very, very nice, I think. It keeps you really...
Yeah.
But yeah, Gooby's just getting unpunished playing in their jungle, and he's queued up a Dagon of all things. This is going to be great to see. It's going to be clowny as shit.
I'll say this. Reverie's been dunked once. Down by Gabala again! Gabala just making this guy's life absolute just absolute hell, dude! Christ, Gabala, give him a break! Give him a goddamn break! But we do have answers for the Morphling, right? We talked about Axe Blink. Axe Blink is one of the hardest counters, but hey, just to sidestep once more towards Shadow Demon, one of my favorite heroes.
I needs to get the Galepnia early, and he never made it to 4-stuff. That's just how bad of a game he had, unfortunately. And I honestly do think this game would be completely different if top lane actually went well for the AU rejects.
Really puts Oz in China put some value on this this particular hero. How do you think it lines up with what we can see so far on the enemy team?
I quite like the troll pick. It's a good 0 combo. I think it just depends on the mid laner's confidence, if he has, like, say, a skill advantage, or if he's even on skill. And it also really depends on if he wants to play Shadow Fiend or...
King! This might be the first time we actually catch it. Live leak, live on camera, this Axe bullying... Oh, maybe not bullying the Morphling as the Tiny arrives to try and save him here. It looks like Tiny's decided to throw himself away. This Reverie on the low ground, I'm not sure you should be there, mate. I think you should be nice and safe behind those tier 3s. They do scout him on vision. Reverie's thinking about maybe making a play here.
Spirit Breaker could just be the hero of this series.
Elite Slayer 60, you know? Like, I want really, really creative names. Oh, okay, let me talk. This is the strongest support in all of Dota.
Think twice about picking this IO. I would expect they're going to think twice about picking the Necro. The IO will likely get banned by Dire next game. Like, he did so much last night. It was an EU team, but I can't quite remember the name.
Damo, you're in chat. Tell me. Lalol. It was Lalol. Thank you, Damo, you legend. Yeah. Lalol, our boy Lalol. Picking the Sand King and making it look hype. See draft from Radiant. To me, I'm seeing Radiant here with a really oddball draft that they're not going to draft these heroes unless they think they work together, and they might be cooking some. Does it again within like 20-30 seconds. He's just comes in with another phenomenal 3-man call, gets the triple dunk. Oh, it must have felt
the upper division is very healthy this season. We actually have 7 teams this time. A lot of them are relatively balanced compared to each other. We don't have there are maybe 1 or 2 teams who might end up being the favorites.
Or in their way back into it.
There's still 20k in the hole, but it's possible, you know? They scout out the vision using the Zeus, so
charge through onto John, but if it leaves it much longer, this snowball might be too big to slow down when you're sitting at the bottom of the hill. And I'm really worried for Radiant.
The Dire vision, 2 wards, one of them old, one of them placed just as the fight breaks out, and it's just turning into a bit of a vision difference here. Necro got a lot of damage out that fight, but it's just nothing in comparison to...
Get that charge, but Huncho caught out of position, and he's scouted immediately by the bolt. Tiny goes in with the toss, but that's not going to be enough damage to deal with Wen Jing, and now the Tiny is dead as well! Oh my lord. Needs to be a little bit more careful. This Morphling is going to be having nightmares. He's going to be waking up in hot sweats with this big red grin in his face. Wisdom gets stolen in the Dire off lane. Toss back.
Spirit Breaker will opt to charge middle for the 4-minute rune, the 2-minute rune. He won't actually play bottom very much, and unfortunately I think it's going to sack the Mars just a little bit too much here. because the Necro's gonna Necro no matter what. You can't actually fucking ignored you, and just did it anyway. But what you're saying is not wrong at all. However, I definitely would say winching on the Undying is it's simple. He plays simple hero. I think that's actually the reason why Reveries died a couple
Mukau is
times.
charging onto that Shadow Demon, and he is just absolutely eliminated. That Zeus ult is doing some real damage.
Raccoon and Gooby is just like, yeah, you're never gonna do it. Those players are well renowned for their ability to troll on Monkey King.
Jeez, these teams draft fast though.
Yeah,
it seems
know
like
each other.
your eyes are probably fixed on Riyadh. Are you taking any lessons from what's been happening in the group stages of that so far?
I have a feeling, yeah, at least one player on all these teams, I can almost...
Three, right?
Yes, with Soul Strike, he's done the wand opening and all branches to maximize his damage as quickly as possible. I will comment the... No way.
Whiffed it a bit there, boys. What's
That
the
is
old...
unfortunate. That, yeah, they just didn't catch anything else. That's insane.
Relax call, and down goes the Sand King and the Shadow Demon almost immediately. This Venji needs to be careful. There's the Refresher Orb coming out to get the Tombstone down to give the vision for Team Radiant. They are thinking about excellent players favoring OD. Like, they play all these, like, hyper... Like, they play all these, like, hyper mobile and technical heroes, like your spirit heroes.
I have the answer. But yeah, you can just see how much like this Tiny does, right? This guy got absolutely jibbed in lane, and he does one toss combo, and that's 2/3 of an Invoker's health full. And that's an 1800 health Invoker.
He needs to get out of there as quickly as he can because there are 4 heroes. Swap, is it enough? Can he get out of there? Can he get into the trees? He is so thick, but there are 3 heroes just punching and punching and punching him. He gets the start off onto the axe, but it's not enough, and that is a 5.
Will just be doing some kind of counter on whatever mid that is picked.
Perfect. Yeah, well, we see the Necro come out. Now, Necro IO is a combo, and a pretty spooky dooky combo. The heal is... They're going to try and shut this axe down. He still does have his tower, so his team can come if they want him. And Huncho does have a whole lot of damage on this Sand King, but his spidey senses are tingling, thinking about the double rampage. Do they want Reverie? Are they going to hunt him? Gotchi's in, doing what he can, but he's taking a whole bunch of damage from that fountain. They still haven't secured the racks. Tiny is very far forward now and surrounded by a whole bunch of heroes. His ward catches them, and all of a sudden his sphincter tightens and he needs to move because he sees 3 heroes are right next to him. Ursa lurking on the side. In comes Axe with a phenomenal call. Down goes the SD and down goes the Tiny immediately. Huncho gets a stun off in return and doesn't have time to get his ult off. The Morphling doing what he can to put some damage on, but...
Or mid laner are they going to choose to prioritize here and then just see how... Because obviously Slaughter Gang's going to take last pick for Huncho again and give him the best matchup possible. My god, that does so much damage as well.
So was he just...
He only did 700... He was half health, I think. And he got cleaned.
Nice. God, Tiny does so much damage. It just...
Did you see it?
I did not see it as well. I was looking a bit at that Tiny, and the Morphling is feeding...
for the second time.
feeding kills to Gabala. Looks like they're looking at that Snapfire. They don't want to be chronoed and have the Snapfire just rain down hell on them, so yeah. I get it. And also, even just like the relocation keeps that faceless group, doesn't get the chance to snatch that one back. Maybe a little bit of a misplay there, being a little bit too far forward. Not respecting the relocation.
The arena was beautiful, but they tornadoes, well...
Void alive, or brings him to the fight when he needs it, so I like it. I like the faceless Void ban, but I am more interested to see what the pick is going to be here, because both of these drafts look good, but both
They really put a
something that I can't see, but I mean, they seem confident with the way that they locked their heroes. They took the tiny and they immediately snapped up Snap and IO. So this is an opener for them. Before he had this Bull Rush talent, Boxy was doing exactly what we're seeing now. Now he has the Bull Rush talent. Like, it's so obnoxious.
It breaks
Yeah,
you're
makes it more interesting for me, makes it more interesting for the people that are out there. And lately there's been a whole bunch of stomps. Last night, obviously, you had that fantastic...
Players are so famous for so many different heroes. It can really go like any way, but Gachi plays really well with an IO combo. The Mars is exceptional into the Snapfire, plus it's like bread and butter for Johnny. Stable hero. I've seen Reverie play it over the years, something he enjoys. I think the problem with second pick here, that like dire second pick, is they agree, but he is objectively the core that had the hardest game possible on top. And if you go to like the net worth blocks and go around the 8-minute mark, he is 6 from the top, and by the 10-minute mark, he is top 3.
No, hey, step up too far, and we're going to put some pain on you.
I gotta give Harold credit though. If there's any player that I would want playing from behind, it would probably be him. He does know how to make miracles happen with borderline bait, so it doesn't actually count as a death. It just gives the gold to Huncho. And a
Gachi is sprinting in. Praise on the sideline to try and interrupt him as he goes in. But there is the chat Wind Ranger though. Wind Ranger getting the run off, but I do hear a Spirit Breaker ult on the side, and it looks like Necro's been caught out of position. Does get the scythe off though before he goes down, so he doesn't go down empty-handed. Game on this Spirit Breaker. Did you say that Raccoon plays a lot of Spirit Breaker, or is this like a...
How the hell did he get up there? Look at where he's standing and look at the wall
he slipped past. He slipped past Prey. We are having a game. Dagon.
Yes. This has been a treat to watch so far. Okay, so they will wait for Roche to go bottom and
Zeus
then get the...
alone here. Both of them look like they need something to bring it together. Slaughter Gangs looks like it's the stronger draft to me so far, but I feel like AU Rejects are cooking something, and it's a Windy. It's on his Rubik, one of the boys of Dog. So it's interesting to see that they do put a lot of value on these comfort heroes, because we're seeing that reflect in the pro scene, right? You've got players, really dominant players like Amar. Any Tinder baddies? Let's go, a bit of all chat, and the game resumes.
We're just hastily approaching the COS, you know? We could be going no faster.
I love that little joke to see a high skill Shadow Demon, somebody who can play it much better than me. I'm keen to see that in action. That's super exciting.
I can almost guarantee that's going to be an RFA Shadow Demon.
Oh, the Rubik from last game. Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be an insane...
Again, but Gachi is on top of the Morphling. Gachi tossed up and is deleted by that tiny toss damage. Reverie does have the charge here if he plays this right. He's looking for something else. He's trying to get track heroes. Is it Slaughter Gang that you're more familiar with, or do you know both the stacks quite well?
I know both stacks quite